Jeff and I were sitting around the other day and just kind of talking about how different things have been for us over the course of 2014. And we're halfway through the race now, and this is the 30th of December, so we're one day away from the beginning of 2015. And we were just talking about so much changing that we decided that that would be a great thing for us to video and tell y'all about. And just to see how far we've come, and we've just been thinking about the things that we're ready to do in 2015 and in the second half of the race, and we look forward to sharing those things with you sometime next week. But right now, we just thought that we would kind of give you kind of an overview and of what's happened in 2014 and some changes we've made to our lives, not just financially, but just in other areas of our lives, and how we think it's going to be great, and how we are just excited about some changes, and just excited about what this will mean to our family now, what it means now, what it will mean in the future. At the beginning of 2014, we never thought that we would even apply for something like the savings race, much less interview and be chosen for it. It's something that we are so thankful that we have had the opportunity to do, because it's changed us already, and we just know that the things that we're learning and we're able to apply are going to benefit us from here on out. We're in this for 8 months as part of the race, but our main focus is things that we can change now, that we can continue doing, and that will impact us for the rest of our lives, basically. Some of the changes that have happened in 2014, one of them is a major one for me, because most of the cards were in my name. They were kind of a pre-marriage Sarah. Some of the stuff I brought into our marriage. We had 8 store credit cards between the two of us last January, when we not even when we started the savings race, but from the beginning of the year last year. And we started working on paying some of those off during the summer, and then that just kind of rolled on into the savings race. But now we have had 8, and now we only have 3 that we are paying directly to the stores or to those credit companies. The others have either been paid off just with hard work and cash, and or some of them we've done some loans and stuff, some consolidation with Eco, to work on lowering those interest rates and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of those we were just going to be paying forever, those minimum payments forever. But Eco was able to work with us. A little shout out to Miss Kay, one of our coaches at the Homewood branch. She was able to work with us and get us a pretty low interest rate compared to those credit cards, and now most of those will be paid off within 3 to 4 years max. We're going to hopefully be able to pay some of them off early, but it is nice to see that light at the end of the tunnel. Another thing is we had a personal loan that we were able to pay off as part of that debt consolidation that had a super high interest rate, and now that we have that lower interest rate, it makes it a lot easier to get that money paid off. The biggest thing that's happened for me personally is that I had a MasterCard that I had since I was 19 years old. So for about, 13 years almost?
Too long.
That had like a major balance on it. And that was another thing that we kind of rolled into some stuff with Eco, and we were able to get that paid off, and like I said, get that lower interest rate. I think the charts that were included in my bill said that I would be paying on that for about 23 years. And I think now I'm down to less than 4 years, and I'm going to be saving somewhere like $23,000 or $13,000 or 28, something like that.
A lot of money.
That's part of something that we combined with some other stuff, but like a massive amount of money that's just been saved just by truly just walking into the door at Eco and working something out. And it's just nice to know that in less than 4 years, all that debt will be paid off, and we'll have all that money freed up. Do you want to talk about another change that we've made this year that's pretty big?
Yes. Also in 2014, we were searching, looking for a church to join, um, and we found one. We joined one. So when we started this race, we made one of our goals was to tithe in the church we joined, and now we're able to tie what we want to tie down, 10% because of what we're doing and in the process we're taking by minimizing all the other bills and all the debt we've collected. So super excited about being able to do that for the church and the wonderful church we've joined.
We have always kind of given to the church, but never like a set 10% or any certain percentage. We just kind of wrote a check every week. And so we just decided that that was going to be a priority this year, and we were looking forward to starting that in 2015. Sorry about the dog that can't stay still. And we are excited to see the kind of changes that will happen in us as we start that tithing process. Another goal that we have was to stop our unnecessary spending or cut back on those unnecessary expenses, and that is something we're still chipping away at. Some of the things we have stopped eating out as much, especially just picking up food on the way home from work or just going through the fast food restaurants just to grab a drink and end up getting like a snack or something too. We've stopped that. I had several subscription services that I was paying monthly to, and some of those have been stopped, or I've unsubscribed to those. Another thing that I was pretty bad about was just stopping in the grocery store every day after work. And I've kind of stopped that by really planning out our meals and doing some meal prep so I don't have to think about those things and just, you know how it is. You run in for one thing and you come out with $40 worth. And those have really, we don't have a lot of those trips anymore. And another thing, in addition to the gas prices being lower now, we aren't going and doing as much. And so that's helped us save gas, which in turn helps us save money. Those are some of the changes we're making to cut those unnecessary expenses, and we are working on some other things like either preparing to cut cable or get our cable bill lowered. We have to wait till football season's over for that. And then just looking at every bill that we have and seeing where everything's going and seeing if those expenses can be cut. One change that's really helped us with that cutting those unnecessary expenses is keeping a check register. We have a system now where Jeff puts his receipts in a certain place and I put mine in a certain place, and I sit down every couple of days and balance that checkbook, and it really helps to see exactly where things are going and where we're spending our money. Do you want to talk about an emergency fund?
Yes. One of our first goals when we started was to build an emergency fund for emergencies. Well, guess what? We built it and it left. We had to use the emergency fund, but we're working diligently to try to build that fund back up ASAP as soon as possible, because it comes in handy, and whenever you're able to use the emergency fund without having to go in debt, it helps a lot. It takes a lot of stress off of you and actually the whole family.
While we hate that we had to drain that emergency fund, back at the beginning of this year, is speaking along like the lines of how 2014, how we've changed some stuff, we would have never even had an emergency fund or never even thought about having an emergency fund. And now we have that separate account set up at the credit union where we can start building that fund back up, and we're hoping to have that done within the next couple of months, so that we can start our debt snowball. But we have to have that emergency fund replenished before we can start that. Probably the biggest thing that's helped us this year is that we have a budget now. In the past, we didn't really have a budget. We knew how much our bills were, and then the money that was left over was just our money to eat out or spend or whatever. We weren't really thinking very good about where we were spending it. We weren't saving any money. And now we have a zero-based budget where we know exactly where every one of our dollars goes every month. And we are also having weekly budget meetings, and that's helped us not only with our money, but just kind of with our relationship and our communication, and I don't even know, like, it's just helped. It's just
Yes.
helped our marriage a little bit.
It's made me more aware of what we're doing, what we're spending money on, why we're spending money here, and and that wasn't my forte to to ask and look detailed into what we're spending money on. But now that I know, I'm more aware of it, and that way both of us are on the same page about spending money.
Right. And in January, we're hoping to start the cash envelopes and the kind of the allocated spending, especially for our own spending money. And I think that's going to just help us stay on track even more, because it's so easy to swipe that debit card and worry about it later. But like Dave Ramsey says, it's emotional when you have to turn over that cash.
Oh, yeah.
So those are just a few of the changes that we've made in 2014, and we have some very exciting changes happening in 2015 that we are so excited to tell you about, and we plan on doing that sometime next week, so be watching out because it's going to be a big deal.
See you then.
Happy New Year!